Guys, like, comment, subscribe. Please share my videos. I'm trying to get big on here. Thank you. Appreciate your support, by the way. Okay, now here's my official Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz fight prediction. Oh, this is one of the toughest predictions I've ever had to make when it comes to making fight predictions. I've done fight predictions from 2020 through all of last year up until 2022 and this year. My heart is saying Nate Diaz because I'm such a fan of him. I was watching him when he was with WEC and my middle high school days. And Khamzat, he's a new guy, but he's dangerous. Obviously, he sells. Both guys sell. My heart is saying Nate Diaz. My brain is saying Khamzat Chimaev. I have to go with my brain on this fight, Khamzat Chimaev, and I'll tell you why. Khamzat Chimaev did show some weaknesses with Gilbert. Not physical weakness, not technique weakness, but stubborn weakness. And I talked about stubbornness in my last video, saying that's a good thing. For him, it's a good thing, right? He's determined to win. Even if he gets hurt, he wants to come back and win the fight, which he did. But stubbornness to stick to one thing when it's not working. When he was standing with Gilbert, he had problems. He was facing adversity. He was so determined to stand with him more than he needed to. Not that he couldn't do it, but it wasn't working strategically in that fight, right? And when he took him down, he had more success. If he had done that more often, that fight wouldn't have been as close as what it was. What I was saying was if he had that same mentality with Diaz and somehow Diaz manages to do well on the feet, what's going to happen, with a guy more experienced like Diaz? Because Diaz is way more experienced than Gilbert and in some ways can be more dangerous. Here's the thing. Khamzat won't have that size advantage like he did with Gilbert because Nate Diaz is a big guy also. So that's going to be a problem. But I think he's going to learn from that fight with Gilbert and say, you know what, if my wrestling works better with this guy, then that's what I need to stick to. Whereas in this fight, if his stand-up works better, you know what I mean? So I think he's going to learn from that. Because like I said, I think he has what it takes to not just be a champion, but to be a dominant champion, perhaps a champ. Because he can easily go up to 185, maybe 205 one day and fight for a title and win the title, because he's that good. But I just think he's going to be too big and too strong for Nate Diaz. He's going to try to stand. And I know Nate's going to get in his face and talk crap and hit him and do what he wants with him. But I just think Khamzat's the better fighter. And this is a case where I don't think Nate sucks. I just think that Khamzat is just that good. It's gonna be a hard fight. I don't think he's gonna run through him. I just think he'll overwhelm him in the late third, early fourth round. I think that the fight he had with Gilbert will help him with endurance, taking punishment from Nate on the feet. I think if this fight goes to the ground, which I don't think Khamzat needs to do. I think I said that in my last video, but I meant to say that, and if not, then that's fine. But I think Khamzat needs to keep this fight standing. He needs to pick Nate apart and move. He doesn't need to stand there and brawl with Nate because that goes into Nate's favor like it did with Conor. Because clearly Conor, when they fought again, was smart. Not better, but he just fought smarter. You know what I mean? So that's why he beat Nate. I think Khamzat needs to take a similar approach to that. I don't think he would win a decision over Nate. I think he'd overwhelm him with strikes and eventually drop him or where it's too much and he'll knock him out or TKO him. That's how I see this fight going. He does not need to take Nate to the ground and test that jiu-jitsu. So I think late third round, fourth round TKO, about like how Volk beat Korean Zombie. I think this fight will be more competitive because Nate's going to come in here with a chip on his shoulder. It's his last fight in the UFC. He's had problems with Dana White in the UFC, obviously, and he wants to go out on a bang and say, hey, man, this is it. What better way to leave than beat one of your top guys, Khamzat, and then leave, and he can't get a rematch like Conor did. So that's going to be a hard fight for that reason. Again, Nate has the reach, too. He's long-armed. He's going to talk crap to him. You imagine a press conference, And again, Nate can win this fight. I don't know why people are saying he has no chance. Look at his skill set, but I just think it's Khamzat's time. Khamzat learned from that mistake. He made mistakes against Gilbert. He needs to stick to his own game plan and then be willing to change it and swap it up to beat somebody like Diaz, to beat a Covington, to beat an Usman, the high-level guys, the big stars that'll make him champion one day that he beats. If he does those things, he should be fine. Now, again, if he takes Nate lightly, I don't think he'll take Nate lightly. I think this fight will excite him. If he fights him like he needs to on the feet, pick him apart, pick his shots, and then finishes the fight, which I think he will do because, again, I think he's just too big and too strong for Nate Diaz in this fight. If he does that and is willing to stand and is patient in this fight, he will win this fight. I think that will be a key factor. I don't think he's going to run through Nate Diaz at all in the first or second round. I think if he's smart and he fights with a good game plan, hits him, moves, stick him, and move. He hits hard. He's a big guy. He's going to have some power. But if he's patient with it and picks his shots, and he doesn't just stand there and try to brawl with Nate and get caught with something big and ends up getting beat by a guy that I think he's better than right now in his career, he should be just fine. I think he's okay. And avoid the ground game because Nate's got, 10, 11 submissions in his career? Something like that, right? Including a guy that was undefeated in the UFC at the time, and Conor McGregor. He's in the same position. He's young, like Conor was younger back then, even though he's still young now. You know what I mean. He hadn't tasted defeat. He hadn't really gone through adversity that much. Khamzat has, but, he could always taste adversity to a guy that he should be able to beat. So, yeah, here's my official prediction. 4th round, early TKO for Khamzat Chimaev. Too big, too strong, too powerful. I think he's durable. I think Nate will give him a hard fight. It's not going to be one-sided by any means. I just think he's going to overwhelm him, and that's just my opinion on that. He's not going to make the same mistake he made with Gilbert Burns and stick to one thing even though it's not working the best for him. He's going to adjust when Nate gives him trouble, because he will. He'll win the fight. He shouldn't have major problems. He's going to get hit, but he should win this fight.